Shalom and welcome. Now we're going to continue on our lesson of Biblical Hebrew. Here in this section we're going to be focusing on the masculine and feminine noun forms and the pronoun endings. Here, this segment here is only going to be focusing right in this point on the masculine nouns. So we have to be basically paying attention to the fact of what will take place at the end of a noun. We always have to remember that when we're dealing with feminine nouns, we're talking about nouns that end in hey or tav. Okay? So nouns that end in hey or tav, these are our feminine nouns, right? So put it here, is our hey and our tav, right? We have to understand that nouns ending with hey and tav are feminine, and nouns that don't have hey and tav, we are going to predominantly assume that these are masculine, with exception to rules that we know about and we should have learned based upon the identifications of masculine and feminines. Remember, feminines are always going to be based upon the fact of a country, based on the fact of body parts that are dual, okay, and based upon the fact of the hey and tav, which I talked to you about, okay. So here we're only going to focus now on masculine nouns, and if you go to my website of yadarama.wordpress.com, get yourself a free dictionary of all the nouns that are used in Biblical Hebrew in the Torah, and you will have a very large, vast array of vocabulary. I can't even tell you exactly how many nouns are in the actual dictionary, just because it's just every single noun that's actually used in Biblical Hebrew. And it separates, as I did on the website, the differentiation between nouns as opposed to verbs and adjectives and conjunctions and prepositions. All of these are separated on the website. You can download them separately and learn them separately so that you can learn the functionalities of how these work. So we're going to be talking about here in this lesson, we're going to be dealing with the issue of using the pronoun endings and understanding how to put an actual noun with a pronoun ending together. This is probably one of the hardest things, except understanding how verbs work. These are the two hard aspects of Biblical Hebrew that really is just a very difficult subject. And that's just because vocalization is always going to be changed based upon how the noun is and what the noun is in its normal form. So be prepared for this, okay? So I have here 5 blanks, as you can see. Each of these blanks is going to represent the possibility for there to be a noun of some sort, which is larger, or a noun which is smaller. I gave myself room so I can put the smaller nouns in it, and I can put the larger nouns in it as well. And that was just so that we can cover a lot more words in this subject here. So let's understand this in its entirety by just simply going through the pronoun endings, okay? The pronoun endings are a necessity. So please, right now, pay attention, look what I'm doing, and follow what I'm saying here, okay? The pronoun endings are essential, okay? If you get yourself a pronoun sheet, here's the pronoun sheet that I have on the website. If you get this pronoun sheet, you're going to have a list of how a simple pronoun added to a noun, which is making it a possessive noun. This noun would regard in a sentence as a definite noun if used in the sentence of some sort. Typically, we're going to find this as being either the object of a sentence of some sort, okay? Or it could be the subject of a sentence. All depends upon how it's going to be utilized. So we need to understand what it is. So every noun that has a pronoun ending is like the simple way of our using pronouns, okay? We have simple pronouns, I, you, he, she, they, we, okay? And these are pronouns, right? We have the plural you, we have I versus we have he and she versus they, right? These are your English forms and your English pronouns that we have. But we have to understand that when we're talking about possessive pronouns, okay, possessive pronouns are different, okay? So we have to understand how possessive pronouns work, all right? So what is possessive pronoun? Possessive pronoun is going to be my, your, his, hers, our, your plural, both masculine and feminine, their plural, both masculine and feminine, okay? So you got to think about it. When you're utilizing in English these possessive pronouns, you're always going to have a noun afterwards, okay? In Hebrew, it's not the same. We don't have the possessive pronoun, for example, hers, okay, or her, I should say, okay, her. We don't have the possessive pronoun her in the first position, okay? In biblical Hebrew, we have to understand the differentiation between the two of them. Her, and we're going to put the noun cow, okay? If I was to say in Hebrew, her cow, we have to know that the order of operation is always going to be the noun first, then the pronoun. You follow? Look at carefully. The noun first, then the pronoun. So this is going to be first in position, second in position in relationship to Hebrew. Okay? In English, we always use the pronoun before we use the noun. Okay? So we have to understand that there's going to be switching of order here when we're looking at Hebrew. But when we want to understand this in a simple form, we have to know what our pronoun endings are. So I want you to pay attention, look carefully, so we can see what our pronouns are in the end, okay? We have a yud at the end. So if you see any word that has a yud at the end, this is obviously going to be either a possessive pronoun ending, or you might have an adjective. Okay? You won't see this at the end of a verb because yuds do not exist at the end of verbs. Okay? So yud is going to definitely indicate that you have a possessive pronoun ending. A chaf sofit. Okay? Chaf sofits are never used on verbs. So you have to understand this. When we're talking about pronouns and we're talking about letters, let's learn to identify simple letters. Okay? Chaf sofit is never going to indicate any kind of pronoun when we're talking about a verb, because verbs don't carry pronouns. They only carry subject pronouns, okay? Object pronouns do not exist with verbs, so we have to understand this, that if you ever see a verb that has an object pronoun, it's grammatically incorrect, okay? And so you got to just keep this in mind, looking at your verb charts, memorizing your verb charts, and knowing what a verb should look like. Who cares how it's written? Look, who cares how you see it in the Tanakh? Anytime you see any kind of form of a pronoun attached to the verb, you have a grammatically incorrect word. Okay? So we got to understand that. So here we have to have the chaf. When it has a kamatz inside of it, this tells you this is the masculine form you. The feminine form you will never have the chaf. Sorry, will never have the chaf inside of it. Okay, So the chaf is only going to exist when you're talking about a masculine you. When you see a vav at the end, okay, once again, vavs are going to be something that you have to look at very much and focus your attention on. When you have a dot on top, you know that this is a pronoun, okay? If you ever have a dot at the end, in the middle of it, this could be a plural ending, okay? And that's always used for they in the plural form, okay? Here, you have a hey at the end, okay? The hey at the end is going to be very significant to you because you're going to see that heys can exist with verbs, but only with verbs that you're going to see this with is when you're looking at a past tense masculine form. After that, you're going to notice that the heys will drop off in the predominantly in the past tense form because the past tense is going to carry different things that will exist with it. You will see the hey though when you're looking at the future form, or you will see the hey when you're looking at the present tense form, okay? So you need to pay attention and notice how the hey looks, okay? And you need to understand that with this. It may be a past tense feminine form or of the verb. It might be a past tense masculine singular form of the verb, but keep your eyes on this thing, okay? Because if it doesn't make sense that it should be a verb, then you know you're probably going to be looking at a noun here. The nun and the vav at the end, okay? Don't mistake the nun and the vav as with the vav ending as being the plural that's normally seen when you're looking at future tense verbs, okay? Or past tense verbs, okay? Because if you can find 3 roots in the letter, then you know yourself that this is not absolutely any way, shape, or form a part of the actual verb, okay? So if you see the nun and the vav, you know that you have a noun here, okay? And Hebrew is very logical, okay? I mean, if you look at the words and you look at them real quickly, most of your nouns are going to have more than at least 3 to 4 letters, okay? Most of your nouns will have that, okay? Very commonly, all right? And if you look at the ending, you're going to know based upon looking at the ending, because none of the verbs have these endings, okay? This is only going to be for nouns, so you can easily know that you're dealing with a noun, okay? The only thing that's an exclusion to this rule is the fact that prepositions can have these noun endings, and that's going to be the other thing you're going to have to just focus on, okay? But you're going to notice that because the sentence will demand some kind of preposition, and you'll make sense out of that. And just think of English, and just think of any language. It's not as difficult as it may seem by just thinking, oh my gosh, this is a foreign language. You have to look at it from the perspective of knowing when you're reading something, the next statement you would find would make sense if this was a preposition. That's how Hebrew works, okay? When you're reading something in Hebrew, you're going to know by reading it, I'm looking for a preposition, I'm looking for a to, I'm looking for a therefore, I'm looking for a because, I'm looking for some kind of thing, because to go on doesn't really make much sense. And you should see that if you had some kind of noun there in that word, it wouldn't make sense here. And just use an English word if you wanted to. You know, if you wanted to say, and he went, and then you said, you know, well, let's see, what would not make sense here? And he went, and you need to say to go, and then afterward to go is found, and you say, what, okay, to his house, then you know that makes sense, okay? If you said he went his house, you'd say, well, that doesn't make sense. His car doesn't make sense. There needs to be a to here. You know you have a preposition that you should be looking at in this case, okay? So you're going to be finding that when you see the vav and the hey, this is the masculine form, his, and the feminine form, her. So we have the nu, which is our, and then chem and chen, which is going to be the plural of you, and then you have am, which is the plural for there, and an, which is the plural for there, which is the masculine and the feminine form. So the masculine form and the feminine form, all right? Then we're getting into the plurals, okay? What is this? These are going to be when you have a noun that ends in a "im" in the plural form, okay? So any noun that's going to be "im" in the plural form, this is where you're going to have to pay attention to, okay? So look at this part here, and if I need to write it over here, I'll do it over here too. We'll look at over here. Any noun that ends with "im," okay, this we know is always going to be my masculine plural endings. So, for example, matate, okay? Matate is a broom. If I was to use it in the plural, I would have to say matatim. Matatim. I know that "im" is the ending. It's plural for brooms. So if I want to tell somebody, "Ten li et hamatate," give me the broom, okay? If I say "Ten li et matatim," give me et hamatatim, give me the brooms, then I know that "im," because this is masculine, this is going to be what we're going to be using in this form here. So in the masculine form, remember, we get rid of the mem suffit. So what you have left is only a yud that characterizes that this is a plural noun, okay? So here, in this, we're changing the E into an I sound. That means we're talking about more than one. If we ever say I, more than one. E, singular. So, susi is my horse. Susai is my horses. You understand that? Okay. So now we're going to see that the yud is going to stay intact before the pronoun. That's just because we're going to be indicating that this is a plural noun. So this is how we identify nouns. If you want to look at this thing, you may not know what the noun is, but if you see the yud and then you see the pronoun, you know the yud identifies it's a masculine noun. And the pronoun identifies that this is the pronoun possessive that's been attached to it, okay? Whenever you see just the noun at the end, you know that this is just a possessive pronoun at the end. So let's get an idea of how this would work and how this would look. We have here the singular form. So I'm going to write up on the word, on the board here. I want you to see this. I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff here for a second, so you can see this for yourself, okay? And all right. We're going to be looking at this word here, which is going to be matate, okay? So here, matate, all right? Matate is the word for broom, okay? Now, right, I want to say my broom, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to first off ignore the nouns. I want you to understand this. Sorry, nouns, I said, I didn't mean the nouns. I want you to ignore the vowel points for a second here, okay? I want you to just simply know how to visualize something without the vowels for a second here, okay? You're going to take matate, and you're going to just take the 5 letters, mem, tet, aleph, tet, aleph. Alright? Now, notice in this singular form without any pronoun, it's matate, okay? Matate, right? Ma-ta-te, right? So remember this in Hebrew, always look at it from this perspective. Wherever you see a vowel sound and you see a consonant with no vowel sound, that's going to be your syllabization of the word. So ma is 1 syllable, Ta is another syllable, and te. So you have basically 3 syllables in this word. And that goes for every single Hebrew word. Doesn't matter how many letters are in it. Vowel, no vowel. That's 1 syllable. Vowel, 2 syllable. Vowel, 3 syllables. So ma, ta, te. Alright? So here, we're going to say ma, ta, te. And we're going to, instead of saying ma, ta, te, I want you to look at this and see this. You're going to say ma, ta, ti. So what happens here is you're going to disregard the sound e, right? And you're going to say e, because now you're saying my broom. Matati, my broom. Alright? Next, we're going to put the vowels here, put the consonant letters here. Now you have matate. And now we're going to say matate ha. Now I want you to notice this, that this is also going to be matate ha, but the difference is the written form is referring to a singular rather than this one, which would be referred to a plural. Okay? And I want you to realize that whenever you have a yud present, you're always going to be having an sound before the yud. Very rarely will you have an e, and that e sound only will exist whenever, predominantly seen, it is at the end of a word, okay? Or it can go into something else and nothing separates it. Normally you're going to see those are your verbs, okay? So you have matate, matati. Matate, matatecha. So now it's your broom. Matatecha goes to matatech. So here, because this is your feminine, you're going to say ech with it. Matatech, right? Your broom, which is feminine. You're talking to a girl. Then we take this here. Matato, right? So now, notice you're going to be basically ignoring the a here, and you're going to go oh, matato, right? So now that means his broom. This is kind of one of those sayings that I'm going to tell you that sounds weird and all funky and stuff, because it actually sounds right. It actually makes sense when you hear this over time, when you reading over and over again. It's going to make sense that it should sound this way. You're going to find it's not so hard to actually vocalize Hebrew. It's not going to be as difficult as you think, okay? So here we have matate, but now we have an a, okay? So we have to think about what happens here, okay? This is going to be her, okay? Because that's what we're referring to a feminine possessive pronoun, all right? So here, do you say matata? Okay? In this sense, it would be more like matateha. Okay? This is going to make sense with some words and some things is not, but you're going to see this and stuff. Matateha. Okay? Now we're doing the nu for our. Matatenu. So now it's our broom. Matatechem. Your broom, plural, for masculine. Matatechem, your broom, plural, feminine. Matatam, their broom. This is masculine form. Matatan, their broom. This is the feminine form. Now we're going to be getting into the plural. Remember I said that here this noun becomes im. So matatim. This is what we have with this actual noun here. Instead of the masculine form, instead of the form, without the yud and the mem, the basic form, the singular form, we have now the plural form we have to deal with. Matatim, okay? So here when we say matatim, we know that we're going to be taking the mem out and we're going to leave the yud. So you see, this is what we're going to be visualizing here, is we're going to see matate, but we're going to see the e. This is going to be here to tell us, okay, when we see the yud, we're going to see that yud that's telling us this is plural. Even though the mem's gone, the yud tells me it's plural, okay? So now, when I go over here, and I plug in my noun, we get matatai, my brooms, right? Ze matatai, or ele matatai, these are my brooms, okay? Ele matatai. Then we have matatecha. Matatecha is your brooms, plural, okay? Matatecha. Notice we have a sound. Whenever you see the dot dot and you see the yud, you know you're going to be dealing with what happened is you had a noun that was plural that looked like this, and the mem was taken off, and now we're leaving the two dots there, and we have the yud, and we know that this is coming from a noun, okay? This is going to be your signal thing that you're going to find that's very simple to identify, because afterwards you have the pronoun that's next to it. And we have the next one. Matataich, okay? Matataich, which is your brooms, plural, feminine. Matatav, his brooms. Matatav. So notice we don't really kind of focus on the vowelization here. We're going to be focusing on what's the necessity of the needs that we're going to find here. Matatav, we know that this is the av sound. So we know that that's going to be put here because of what's needed. Matateha. Matateha, here we have her brooms. Okay? Now we're going to be going into the plural form. Matatenu, our brooms. Matatechem, your brooms, plural. Matatechem, your brooms, feminine, plural. Matatehem, their brooms, masculine, plural. And matatehem, that's their brooms, feminine, plural. Okay? Now, this is just one word. Okay? We're only putting one word at this point in here. I can change that word and we can put a completely different word in there, okay? I use, for example, we'll change the word, and we'll change it to the word all. What's the word all mean? It means yoke. Alright? Now look at this. All I have to do is plug this noun into my boxes here, and what do I get? Oli, olecha, oli my yoke, olecha your yoke, oleich your yoke feminine, olo his yoke, oleha her yoke, olenu our yoke, olechem your yoke plural, olechin your yoke feminine plural, olam their yoke, olan their yoke feminine, olai my yokes, olaich your yokes, olaich your yokes feminine, olav his yokes, oleha her yokes, olenu our yokes, olechem your yokes, olechin your yokes feminine, olehem their yokes, olehen their yokes feminine. And all we have to do is take the nouns and put them in here. Sometimes the nouns will change, and we'll see how certain nouns will change in the way they have to be pronounced. Okay? I'll give you an example of how nouns can kind of change their vocalization form. Okay? We have this noun, ya. A ya is a shovel. Okay? Ya. So we have to think sometimes there's going to be things here, vowelized underneath the ein, that might change the way it's going to look. You just have to understand that the vowels aren't as important as the consonants are. So if I know what the consonant means, if I know what the consonant is, I already know then what the noun is. Okay? Because the vowels don't have to be as significantly important to you. The only time the vowels are going to be important to you is when two words look alike but they're vowelized with different vowel points. Then you're going to say, oh, are we talking about this object or are we talking about this object? Because that's when you're going to see that there's a differentiation between one noun and the other, and you don't want to confuse one noun with the other. Okay? That is important, and that is significantly needed to be known, but that's basically going to be a contextual thing, okay? So when we're looking at this word, ya, so ya'i, my shovel, ya'echa, so here we're going to have an a sound, ya'echa, your shovel, ya'ich, your shovel feminine, yo, his shovel. Here, this is going to be a little complicated one. Ya'a, okay? Or ya'eha, her shovel. Ya'enu, our shovel. Ya'echem, your shovel, plural. Ya'echin, your shovel, feminine. Ya'am, their shovel. Ya'an, their shovel, feminine. Ya'ai, my shovels. Ya'echa, sorry, your shovels, plural. Ya'ich, your shovels, plural but feminine. Ya'av, his shovels. Ya'eha, her shovels. Ya'enu, our shovels. Ya'echem, your shovels. Ya'echin, your shovels, feminine. Ya'ehem, their shovels. And Ya'ehin, their shovels, plural, feminine. So here, we just have to know and understand the fact that if we take these nouns, right, and these nouns from this, and we plug it into these different parts, you will have a vocalization change that will take place from time to time. The most important thing is not worrying so much about the vocalization of it, because, yeah, you could feel trapped in the vocalization. If you can identify the noun and see that this is a pronoun ending, this is going to help you tremendously as to know what it is. Not to mention, you can immediately tell yourself if it's a if it's a plural or if it's a singular, okay? When you're looking at masculine nouns, you'll immediately know, okay, this is a masculine noun, this is a singular form, and this is the plural. Because why? Because the youth present. So that in itself tells you you already have a lot that you can quickly gain in understanding the issues of nouns. In our next lesson, which we will go into, we're going to talk about what nouns will look like in the feminine form in relationship to the pronoun endings, both in the singular and both in the plural state. I'll see you next time.